Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and welcome to another show. I hope I am getting a signal out. Um, right before Pete finished his show, we got one of our afternoon rain showers. So it's just finishing up, about 10 minutes worth of rain. Looks like I'm in the witness protection program over here on D Live, and my green screen is all discombobulated. But anyway, we are going to talk about a few things. We've reached the boiling point, going into spillover. They want to defund. Yes, we're going to talk about all of that. Rogue Ferret, good to see you. All right, let me wave my hand real quick at everybody. StreamYards is here. All right, good to see that. DM, welcome. Good to see you. NS and Margot, Luciano, many times. Jeff B, Zombie 5, Dumpster Dive. Good to see you. Northern Tiger, welcome. Jeff B. And Northern Tiger again. California Crickets in the house. Good to see you, brother. It is a good picture. I'm a little surprised. It's better than I would expect because of the damn rain. But I guess maybe cleaning off the dish. Let's see. Margot again. Northern Tiger again. California Cricket, what'd you say here? Yep, did you see Newscomb saying it's not the black community's fault, looting and rioting? He said it's everybody else's fault for systemic oppression. Yes, mostly by the liberal left. Gonna be some interesting stuff. Hi, C. Good to see you. Gonna be some interesting things going on. Gun loving grandpa, you good to see you. Welcome, Teresa. Tony Patriot. Good to see you, brother. Welcome. Anyway, so title of the show, No Law, No Order. And the first thing I'll say is one of the bylaws of the Illuminati and of the Freemasons is through chaos comes order. So what we are experiencing right now is the introduction of the chaos and the escalation of that. There's another thing called the Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. Hello, Kelly. The problem is that with these communists that are running these inner cities and these big metropolitan centers, these are not any longer Democrats. They aren't representing the Democrat Party. They are extreme communist fascists. And that can be proven in the activity that you're seeing right now by the people in these cities, plus the reaction from the city leaders. They've created the problem by using the media to elevate a situation that, based on its color, the black and white perspective. Susan Q, how you doing? The media runs with those because they know it's very effective for reaching for the emotional ties of humanity. The only problem is the thing that has happened to that man in Minnesota has happened all over the country to many other people, but it doesn't mean anything because the public is not allowed to know about it. The controlled dialogue, the brainwashing of humanity, the operational management done by the liberal fascists is it's designed to manipulate and to control the mind. They tell you what they want you to think. They give you what they want you to hear. Protest Skywatcher, I just got an article saying genetic modification mosquitoes are coming to the U.S. What a perfect timing. Yeah, it's going to keep coming. Everything's going to keep happening. And I've already said it, and I'll say it again. Watch for natural disasters. If you don't believe that they can control the environment, the volcanic activity, the earthquakes, all these things, think again. It's absolutely out there. Appreciate you sharing that, Tony. Big Dog, Namvet, welcome. Yeah, you're over there on D Live. Matter of fact, I got my D Live buried behind me here, so get that open. Yeah, Huey Cobra, good to see you. Welcome. And who just jumped in there? Namvet, you got in there. Always good to see you. Uh, DM's over there on D Live as well, unless that's her clone. But either way, all right. Chrysler Imperial, good to see you. And the B ladies here. All right, now we can officially begin. All right, so what is going on right now is it is war. Uh, People just haven't realized it yet because, again, the media is telling people what to think and what to see. Um, the the inner cities right now are reaching a level of complete chaos. Cornbread Burgess must be cornbread fed. How you doing? Um, the the chaos that's going on right now is orchestrated. It's allowed to happen in just because the people that are doing it are being coordinated. They are being communicated to. They're being told when the cops are coming to their location, so they disappear before the cops get there. There is a network of criminality going on, and we've already seen proof that some of the members of the Democrat Party, their children, are directly involved in this because they have been caught. So the coordination is very likely coming from senior members of the Democrat Party, and the funding is more than likely coming from George Soros. So obviously, this is going to get my channel banned because I'm going to tell it to you like it is. So if you haven't gone over to my D Live account, please do that. I don't expect to get very far with this video. As soon as I finish the live show, it'll probably disappear. We'll just have to see how that goes. They've got me so oppressed and suppressed on this network on YouTube that I doubt that these notifications have really even gone out to more than you folks right there. So I did have a commercial. Yeah, well, they'll figure out the error in their ways as soon as we're done. Anyway, what we're also seeing right now is there is organizations that are turning against our president that are supposed to be allies. And George Soros in Brussels. Yeah, Eric, it's very, very likely that it is coordinated out of Brussels because that's where the bankers are. And if you don't think for a minute that this is a global event, then you might be missing something. The leader of India, the leader of this country, and the leader of UK are all enemies of the Soros groups, and their mission in life is to get rid of those leaders. I always get your notices on YouTube and D Live. Okay, well that's good. WTF? What are you doing? I live in Delaware. They have arrested folks here from Washington State. Yeah, they're being flown in from all over, which we've been told by General Barr, Attorney General Barr, that is a felony, but we are not seeing the correction at this point. We are hearing about the crimes. We're being told about them on a regular basis, but we're not getting them fixed. Margot dropped me a Ninja Guinea. God bless you. Appreciate you. That's awesome. That's probably the most expensive car I've ever owned now. Also, I think I got some, looks like some ice creams dropped in there and lemons. Yep, Nambat dropped me a lemon. Appreciate you. Also, I got Sam that joined me over here. She follows me now. That's kind of cool. Tactical technician. Why does it look like you are wearing a prison suit? Well, it's my get out of jail free shirt. This is my when I talk about law and crime, I got to be in character. It's it's important to act the part. But anyway, so I've got some stuff I want to pull up and share with you because we're going to go over this a little bit on what I see happening. I just mentioned the let's see, get up there. I just mentioned the coordination and the leaders that are supposed to be allies going against the president. And this is a basically a page called Constitutional Check. Could military disobey orders issued by the president? The quickest answer to that is yes, but the order has to be unconstitutional. If it is not an unconstitutional or what they call an unlawful order, then they cannot disobey the orders of those appointed above them. Fat finger texting, yeah, I get that all the time. My hands tend to balloon up like bee stings right when I got to say something important. Then it usually comes across going, but it works in my mind anyway. Just drive safely. Yes, the point of driving me crazy at this point is I'm so close now that I can walk. I don't even need to drive, so that helps a lot. But anyway, on this document here, on this article, it says Lyle Denniston, the National Constitution Center's constitutional literacy advisor, looks at comments from retired Air Force General Michael Hayden about possible conflict between the military and a civilian president over controversial orders. I don't care if they're controversial. If they're lawful, they're lawful. If they're unlawful, you disobey them. A debate triggered by recent comments from the GOP candidate Donald Trump. And of course, they call him a candidate. You got to listen for the key words. The country is at war against the president right now. Candidate, yes, so far he is a candidate, but he's also the president of the United States. So that would be his first title. It would be Mr. President or the president, but it won't be the candidate because he's an active president. So it's this kind of stuff that I'm telling you about that they pull in the writings. I would be incredibly concerned if President Trump governed in a way that was consistent with the language that candidate Trump expressed during the campaign. Let me give you a punchline. If he were in order that the killing of family members of terrorists, once in government, the American armed forces would refuse that act. And that's true. You are not required to follow an unlawful order. Bingo. That would be in violation of all international laws and armed conflict, Uniform Code of Military Justice. Comments by retired Air Force General Michael Hayden on February 26th during the appearance on the HBO television program Real Time with Bill Maher. But that guy's an idiot, so it doesn't matter. But the point I'm making is that we are already seeing the military brass, making a decision at this moment that they will not follow the orders of the president if he uses the military to quell the violence. Now, this is a touchy subject to many veterans and many other people, because we don't want the military in a conflict on American soil against Americans. Even the dumbest shits out there still have legal protection. It's if you're going to kill somebody, you need to be dropped. I mean, quick, fast, and in a hurry. But there has to be the legal process. But the problem, the catch-22 here is that the liberals that are running these inner cities are pulling their police officers back. They're defunding their organizations. They're going to be disbanding their police officers. And basically what they're taking out of the equation is the law part. With no law, there is no order. No matter how many times they say through chaos comes order, it's a lie. But the biggest problem is, Flat Earth Preacher, how you doing? Invader Zim, did he just put something up there? Probably was reading that article. Got, I'm not getting movement. Here we go. Now it's moving, but it's not moving much. Um, Trying to get back to the comment, but it's not allowing me to scroll right now. It's very yeah. I think that in a form of civil war, the only problem is that the president I don't know why my mic just dropped. Share your thoughts on the general that's telling folks not to obey the president. I think, yeah, thank you, Invader Zim, for posting that again. Yeah, it's really touchy, but the most fascist and white supremacist, the Aryan race, as it was called in World War II, just happened to be Antifa, and they're going into these black neighborhoods and they're destroying them. And one of the most ignorant and stupid comments that I've heard come out of the media is that this is going to affect the minority community more than anybody else. And in that, I have to give an incredible no shit. Because if you burn down the minority community, of course it's going to affect them the most. But now, they're telling the cops to stand down. They're disbanding them. They're defunding them. Uh, what you're seeing on the news on purpose is the few interactions with the police that are happening. They're catching them on camera, and every time you see an interaction between a police officer and a protester or a rioter, they make it look to be the most violent videos on the news, and they do that on purpose. They don't want to show the compassion. The white cop that grabs a young black man, pulls him in, and gives him a hug and holds him because the black man is crying because he's lost his community. They're not going to show you that stuff because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't keep you on a rampage. This is all coordinated. This is all planned, and it's being run by the leaders of these inner cities, which I will say, I think that the leaders of these inner cities need to be dragged out of their office and put in cuffs, hauled to jail. Their positions need to have an interim leader until a special election can be held. And if that means being held by senior military command, I know this will be the most controversial thing I'll say. So be it. Because they are getting the people in their cities killed. They're getting their businesses destroyed. And you watch this and you mark my words. In these areas that are being demolished, watch and see how difficult it's going to be for these folks to rebuild. Watch this. You're going to see that they're going to be basically squeezed out, and then a new condominium high rise is going to be dropped in. Some middle income family housing will be thrown in there. You watch for that, because one of the easiest ways to get rid of a group within your society is burn them out. Look at what happened in the campfire in California. They burned them out. And now all that land, many of them have been told, no, you can't rebuild here. And you've got organizations swooping in to buy up the land at giveaway deals because they're going to give kickbacks to the leaders of the community. So you got to watch for this. Now, the second part, the the National Guard. Tony, appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for that. Um, the National Guard is being restricted in their operations. Um, DPFX, that was I didn't see that. It just jumped out of here. That was Sina that assisted in burning all of the land and the ground in California. And in fact, they used direct energy weapons. Yes, they did. Caught on video, proven, no questions asked. Yes, Alex, that's what will happen, no doubt. They want everyone grouped and more controlled. You're right. But here's the funny part. They're taking away the Second Amendment. In Minneapolis, the mayor there has declared that there will be a zero tolerance for guns in the city. So they are coordinating the criminals to come into their cities and destroy them and injure the people and potentially kill people. And cops have died. And then they're telling the citizenry that this isn't violence, this is just protesting. Hi, Propus. And then they're taking away the citizens' rights and abilities to protect their property and themselves. Tell me this isn't some kind of psycho plan from the left. And I'm going to give you another watch for this. Watch for the UN peacekeepers to be asked to come into the cities to quell the violence. The police are not going to be able to do their job because they've been told not to. And going back again, police chiefs need to be on that list of those dragged out and arrested. And the elected sheriffs, you need to look at your powers. You need to double check what you are capable of under the rules and laws of your badge. And I think you're going to find that if a unlawful practice is being done by somebody who is in a command potentially above you, guess what? You can arrest them too. Elected sheriffs have an enormous amount of power, and the people are the ones that the sheriff answers to, not the elected official, not the other elected officials. Yeah, the West Palm Beach mayor banned guns and ammo also. So they're taking away your ability to protect yourself. They're allowing the complete chaos and destruction of your cities. And then they're punishing people that defend themselves. Look around on the internet. You'll see this on a regular basis. They're taking the people that stand up to the rioters and they're arresting them. And then the rioters continue to destroy what it was they were trying to protect. So this thing is out of hand. And what they're doing, they are setting it up for a full-blown civil war. They want the patriots to come into these cities with guns ablazing because they can vilify them. Look at what they did in Indiana, or Idaho rather. A city in Idaho, one of these prepping channels I look at, and I can't think of his name. Sorry for that. But he did a video on the street. And I mean, just about every other person that you passed had their long rifle draped on them, had their pistols in their sheath and holsters on their hip. But the media went through there and talked about the white supremacists, anti-American, gun-loving, Second Amendment supporting, flag-waving, fascists. They had their whole list of insults for these people, but there wasn't a single incident of violence in that town. No looting, no rioting, nothing. Everybody was enjoying themselves. I mean, there was an army of weaponry on the streets that night, but not one incident. So they're going to lose this battle of their narrative. And when they do, they've lost everything. So they're going to fight like hell to keep it going. But if they can get everybody fighting each other, then they will get control in their illusion. They'll get control of people. But we're reaching a point where we're going to have to reevaluate how the states are being run. Dealani, Idaho.
Yes, that's the town.
Yeah, okay. Dealine, Idaho, or Eleni. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yeah, you're right. Uh, you made your first video, Grandma Moses, right on. Everybody get over there and check out Grandma Moses in a minute, of course, when we get down here. Broccoli. No, you can have it.
Broccoli. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Broccoli is for people who are broken, just like onions. All right, so I'm sure that what I'm doing here, talking to you folks, is really just readdressing what you guys can already see. And all I can do is hope that it gets out a little further and the information reaches people that haven't heard it yet, because the signs are on the wall. I want to bring up something else here. This is what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about with the Donna Daly. I'm so sorry to hear that. Did I just freeze up completely? Um, yeah, looks like I am buffering. Um, I think I'm having trouble with my connection, obviously, because of the clouds settling in. But this is another issue I wanted to bring up now that I got back on here. You wouldn't believe the out of state cars in my part of Tennessee this week. Tons of people coming to stay with family on, or only motel is booked for the rest of the summer. Wow. Yeah, well, people are coming, they're coordinating, they're grouping together to protect themselves. That's the next step in this. Anyway, right here, it says at least 4 Minneapolis City Council members have voiced support of disbanding the Minneapolis Police Department. They say the department can be replaced with a new system involving social workers or medics. I'm sorry, that's just about one of the most stupid things that I've ever heard. We're going to send medics when you call 911 when somebody has broken into your house and they have a gun to your head. They pull the trigger. Don't worry, medics are on the way, and social workers. What exactly are they going to say? Excuse me, sir. You need to calm down and come with me, and please put that gun down. Let's be realistic. Criminals don't give a rat's ass about anything but violence. The only thing that stops a criminal is the threat or the initiation of violence. That is how you stop a criminal. They have to understand that if they continue, there will be consequences, not there may be consequences. And it has to be made perfectly clear. So if a criminal breaks into a house, they need to have it perfectly clear in their mind that they may not live through the night. And if there's no doubt that there will be serious consequence, then you will reduce the crime. It's just that's just common. I mean, common sense. Really, it just blows my mind. City Council member Jeremiah Ellison argues the police are past the point of being able to reform. And remember, not all cops are bad. And I know that there's always pushback with that. Well, any cop that lets another cop do bad things, well, there is that question. But I know people who serve that were in the military, that are people of honor, integrity, constitutionalists. They're out there. Maybe they're hiding because of fear of losing their job, But what do they have to lose once they've been told they're going to lose their job? Then you'll have the pushback. Why are we catering to the logic of a child? That's a good question. Some children make some very good points, but Hillary lost her appeal. That's a plus. All right. Mayor Jacob Frey opposes the move, but still calls for reform. Um, I would say I agree with that. Chris Link, how you doing? The reform needs to be, if there are corrupt cops within the agency, and that means all the way up to the police chief, they need to get their asses booted out and dumped on the street. That's how you reform. If you are going to wear a badge and uphold the law, then you should be held at a much higher standard than the people that you are to protect and serve. The penalties for a cop stepping out of line should not be minimalized. They should be maximized. When you swear that oath to uphold the laws of the Constitution and protect the public, if you step out of line and you do something illegal, if a civilian, for example, steals a pack of gum, gets $1,000 fine for theft, whatever. And this is a stupid example, but if a cop steals that same piece of gum, he should get a $2,500 fine. They should be held at a higher standard with absolute assurance that if they step out of line, their penalties will be much more severe than the people that would do the same crime under them. So it comes after the state filed a civil rights charge against the MPD, citing George Floyd's death in custody. Yeah, well, there's a lot of questions. I've got to leave it there. You got to look into that, but there's a lot of questions. Anyway, a video of Floyd's arrest sparked protests against police brutality across the U.S. Actually, those protests that was the excuse for destroying the inner cities. Most of the people that are destroying the inner cities don't give a damn about Floyd. They don't care about anything but making the money. So they are making money. These people are getting paid, especially Antifa. They're getting training. They're getting paid. Project Veritas just did a undercover with a person that was a pledge for an Antifa group. And, these people are all about death, destruction, mayhem, and chaos. And going back to the part about the Civil War, if the Patriots have to take back this country, we will. I mean, trust me, it'll happen. If the military is stood down because of the brass telling them you do not respond to the president's order, even if it's lawful, if the brass stands down, the National Guard stands down, the police are disbanded, guess what's left? Us. And it's not going to be a free-for-all. It's going to be civilized. You're going to have some people that are, gung-ho and dumb shits. But those people would be put in check too. Because sometimes the best way to quell violence is to just present the violence with an overwhelming show of force, with the understanding that no harm will come to you if you leave and this ends right now, but also an absolute guarantee that maximum harm will come to you if you continue to assault and continue to be aggressive. That's how things stop. That's the deal with Idaho. They didn't fire a shot. Nobody got hurt. It was just an overwhelming show of force with an absolute understanding that should you do something stupid here, you will be met with maximum penalty. So the left assumes that what we're going to do as patriots is move into these cities and, Wild West, shoot them up, bang, bang, horses running down the street, covered wagons flipping over, and fires being set in the stalls of the town barn. That's not the case. They will go into the cities, they will post up, and they will eradicate the Antifa, because the Antifa is a domestic threat. They're a domestic terrorist organization, and they are a real threat to our republic. And they're being trained to be this way. So they will be eradicated. But the problem is, once you get rid of the Antifa and the extremist groups that are destroying the cities, you have to get rid of the source of the problem. And that means the removal of the elected officials from their positions, because they're using their positions to cause harm, chaos, and conflict. That is a serious threat to the well-being of the people of those communities. And if there's a threat to your life, even a perceived threat, you are entirely obligated to defend yourself from that threat. And at this point, the liberal, psychotic elected officials are really that threat. So the sheriffs need to be arresting these people, remove them from office, and put an interim leader into that position. Give them a chance to quell the violence. And if they can't do it, get them out too, put in another one until the violence is over and civility is brought back to the neighborhoods. Then you can hold a special election, and you can replace the interim with a permanent seat. Uh, Antifa is well organized and well funded, absolutely. So that's what's going to happen if we keep seeing the dominoes fall the way they're falling. Then there reaches a point where there's no choice. The well-regulated militia, in order to protect a free state, you know, the militia is the citizenry, and people forget that. It doesn't mean the militia is a group of weekend warriors. It means that every single person that calls himself a constitutionalist, a member of the republic, is the militia. And it is up to the people to protect themselves and protect the ones around them. So it's coming. The dominoes are falling. They're forcing a position. They want this position because then they can exploit it. This is all about the election. This has nothing to do about your safety, your possessions, your money, your well-being. None of it. It has to do with complete and total control. So some things are going to happen. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser officially renamed a section of 16th Street. Yeah, I saw that, Black Lives Matter Plaza. And she's also been kicking National Guard out of the hotels in DC. She wants the gates, the fencing, the barrier removed from the White House that the president had put in for safety, or probably the Secret Service. I don't think the president did that. What these son of a bitches want is they want the security of the president to be taken down so that they can walk in very casually and kill him. This is coordinated. They want to take out our leader. And if they want the level of chaos that they envision, that they believe will bring their utopia and their, chaos to order scenario, all they have to do is harm a hair on the president's body, and there will be 65 million basically demons from hell that will come down on them, and there's nothing they can do about it. They think they have the power over the people. Power is an illusion, and you realize that that's being shown to you every night, because supposedly the police are doing their job, but they're being totally overwhelmed. The police are a representation of the power. The power is being ignored, and when they're not being told to stand down, they're being confronted by massive numbers. They're overwhelmed, they're overpowered. So illusion is a power. Did I just say that backwards? Power is an illusion. Just reverse that last part. They won't want that, I'm telling you. No, they won't, but they don't understand what it is that they're facing, because they really do believe that they are the all-powerful, almighty leaders of society. They really think they're gonna be able to stop anything. Do what now?
Yeah.
DPFX, they have a visual plan to go ahead and advertise on CNN, and it just jumps out. You're right. CNN has all the leftist channels. President Trump being beat down in the streets and killed, like what happened to Gaddafi and Saddam. Oh man, let me tell you, uh, that would be bad. They have no idea. If you look at it, though, Phil and Ron DeSantis suspended him. Then they decided to not let him return. Tony, what is that now? Um, what are you doing right now, Tony? Um, grab that link right there and come up here, if you don't mind, if you got a minute, if you can, because I'm very curious what that is. Um, oh, Sheriff Israel. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's a psychopath. Uh, oh, you were talking to Phil. Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I thought you heard something about the that West Palm banning people with guns. And I'm telling you, if you have a concealed carry license for the state of Florida, they can ask that you don't do something, but they can't tell you not to do something. It doesn't work like that. The state is a whole entity. It's not broken up into individual states within a state. China invades India. Will we help India? I don't know that we would need to. Um, India's got a pretty damn powerful military. You're talking about two countries with the most fighting people in the world. They are the biggest countries by population. So I don't know how much we would have to do. There might be some moral support, but India and China both have nukes, and they've made it clear that they don't mind using them. I want to join you, Patriots, when we do have a civil war. Well, we just got to hope we don't. It's not, war is not pleasant. It's not the video game. It's real life and death, and violence of extraordinary magnitude. So the last thing that we want is war, but we're also being pushed in that direction quite deliberately, because that's their end goal. And I've been saying this now for the whole year that I've been on here, that the left has to have events. And each time I've said that, then they've happened. I've said that the left needs to have their civil war. And I'm telling you, it's coming. So we would have fried curry or fried rice. Where did that go? That's California cricket. Fried curry or fried rice. I'm down with both. My wife just actually finished making some fried rice that I will be diving into head first after we get done with this little gathering here. So, not a civil war. It's independence 2.0. You're right, Eric. That's what I've been saying also. They want a civil war, but what they're going to get is a second revolutionary war. Yeah, you can't carry in schools, you can't carry in airports, hospitals, or federal buildings, but you can carry down the street of West Palm. And, that might be the way to counter the mayor there. The people like ourselves that have CCWs, go ahead and do a march right through the middle of town, concealed, packed up. What's it going to do? Arrest every single person? I don't think the police would do that. So, Florida is still, it's got a liberal stronghold down there in the southeast, but in general, Florida is still conservative. And, we're still the home of the cowboy and the crackers, because of the original cattle ranchers. So we have a long history of almost the Wild West here. And it's the New Yorkers moving down here and creating changes that they think are going to be for the better, but they run from places after they destroy them. On my D Live, you keep stopping. He would cover up. Well, yeah, I know. It's my connection is not great, brother. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, we are predominantly conservative here. But New Yorkers come, they trash their own place, then they get pissed about the changes that are made, and then they go trash another place. Um, that's what's happening with Texas. The Californians are moving there and bringing their liberal ideology with them, and I think some of this is planned as well. They want to uh, keep people subservient to their government leaders, so they push their liberal agendas anywhere they go. George Washington did once say that a patriot would rather die on his feet than to live one day on his knees. One of my favorite slogans. Yeah, I will never be on my knees. You know what? That's exactly what I should bring up next. Is this kneeling? It ain't happening. I'm sorry that everybody feels so oppressed, but every nationality that has ever crossed paths in the existence of humanity has experienced a period of time of complete oppression. That is in the history books if you just look at it. This idea that the black folks are the only ones that have ever been oppressed, I mean, they're being told this by the media, and if the media says it, it must be true. That's getting old. The media has so many damn minds just melting out of the ears of the people that are listening. They just don't see the big picture. Now, the black people have gone through slavery, and that was hell. I would never want that for anybody. But every race in humanity has experienced slavery as well. Uh, the racism that they say is systemic in this country is mostly fabricated by the left and the media and used as a tool to keep themselves in power. The racism, it does exist. There are some black neighborhoods that you don't go if you have pale skin, and there are some white neighborhoods you don't go if you have dark skin. Yes, that exists. Personally, I think they should be eradicated from the planet. But the majority of humanity is not racist. You are taught racism at birth, and you are raised into racism. Children that are born together and raised together never see color and never associate that with a positive or negative. So the racism thing is tired. The Indians, my people, even though I've got the pale skin, my people were given blankets that were riddled with smallpox to be totally eradicated like roaches that you might spray in your kitchen. So I think that qualifies as oppression. I think the fact that the Indians are forced to live on reservations still, some of those reservations with no running water, I would call that oppression. Black people need to understand they are not the only ones that go through this shit. They're just the only ones that are used by the system to create the need for the left. They make them feel like they have to have somebody help them, and then they jump in to help them. But they don't help them. If you look at the communities that are run by these liberal psychopaths, they are absolutely just dripping with depression. Just they don't. The left doesn't want you unless you have a vote for them. If you think for yourself, if you are a constitutionalist, if you are an American at heart and blood and soul, they don't want anything to do with you. If you are a black infant baby in the safest place on the planet, being the womb of the mother, and they're willing to jerk that little baby out in pieces, your life does not matter to them. So this is some bullshit. I wish some more people could wake up and realize that you are pawns in a game of violence and depression. They want you in constant need of their help, but then they only give you enough help to just barely exist. If you want to help, get your ass up and help yourself. Do your job, get to work. Raise your kids to respect elders, to respect the community, to respect the hard work of others. This isn't rocket science. And all the excuses that are used, they're tired. So, I don't have time for it. And as far as kneeling to another human being, telling somebody, oh, I'm sorry for what somebody did that I don't know and never heard of, and was probably the only part of them that's in my bloodline is one little tick somewhere off in the far left of the tree, I'm not going to do it. I will only kneel before God, period. End of statement. Period. I will not do it. This is bullshit. One human is not above another, and one human is never below another. We are all equal in the eyes of God, and we are supposed to treat each other that way. So, you know, you guys keep playing your silly games as far as voting in your oppressors over and over and over again, and you'll never get out of the situation you're in. If you are allowed to be let go of your chains, then success is boundless. You have nothing holding you back but air and opportunity. So, people got to get up and do their thing. Uh, yeah, 70s and 80s, big decades of civil rights. But also, if you look at that, I mean, I grew up in Atlanta, and from the age of, few months till 9 years old, and we used to go down to Harlem all the time. That was our favorite place to go, and we used to jump down there and hang out with the folks. And as I was growing up, it never occurred to me that there was anything unusual about that or that was different. But now there's so much divide that has been created over this period of time that I don't know if I would be accepted in Harlem anymore, even though I'm only half of the white devil, the one that they're blaming for the destruction of the world, which also makes me kind of question the whole racism narrative. President Trump was half white, half black, but he was black. So, are you racist towards his other half, or are whites supposed to be racist towards the darker half? In my situation, I am half Apache and I am half Viking. I'm Norseman. My father was a Norseman, Icelandic. So, am I supposed to be white or am I supposed to be Indian? Considering I have more Indian blood in me, I should technically go ahead and swing over to the Indian part. So is somebody supposed to be racist towards me because I am Native American, or are they supposed to be racist towards me because I have white blood in me as well? The whole thing is confusing as shit. That's how ignorant and stupid it is when you have to make that decision based on the complexion of the person that you're approaching. And until that gets figured out, I don't think any good answers are going to come from it. Yeah, half is enough. Ikusu Ocha, the white devil. Yeah, it's pathetic. I don't know the rules. I don't understand the game. I don't have racism in me. Whatever that is, it's never been something I've been able to figure out. When I've had people that come at me and call me whitey and stuff like that, my quickest answer is which half, which part is the whitey? I'm confused, and I'm an asshole. I am, because if somebody comes at me with racism, I usually start dropping truth bombs on them, and damn, that stuff stings sometimes. So, I don't hesitate. I don't hesitate to educate. So, I also don't hesitate to defend myself if I get somebody aggressively coming at me, but that's a different deal. Um, yeah, my wife she's, what are you, mutt? Yeah, she's always got a wet nose, but she has Japanese, German, Chinese, I mean, you have a lot more Japanese in you than you really have anything else, but you got a sprinkling. But nobody knows which half of her to be racist about. I mean, that would just be mind-boggling to figure out.
Being racist towards yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's she just says like somebody being racist towards themselves. That's the kind of thing you face because someday people are going to realize that we all come from the same continent, which is Africa, and we all are black at some point in our history. Ooh, I bet that stung. It's it's just stupid. Oh, Mutt, Luciano, right on. Do you always have a wet nose too? Because that's a good indication. Uh, if all of those folks had finished college and raised their kids, think where blacks would be today. If they would just be let go and allowed to do their thing instead of constantly being told that they can't do it themselves, that they've been sat on too long, and it's only the Democrats can reach a hand out and help them.
Where those guys wanted pension for what happened.
Reparations, yeah,
And it's like they were never enslaved.
yeah, the reparations for the young kids that want to go out and steal stuff. They're saying, "Oh, we won't steal stuff if you give us reparations." How about you don't steal stuff and get a job? Think of this: everybody needs reparations because you have the Irish that were slaves in New York. You have the blacks that were slaves throughout the country. You have the Indians that were basically eradicated or raped or mind melted into re-education. I mean, who the hell do you reparate? Who do you give the money back to? And why not get out and make your own money? My white privilege has to work hard to make the bills and needs of my family. Yeah, um, yeah. I'm pretty sure I don't have any white privilege. Everything I've got, I've worked my ass off for. See, I've even dropped the word because I've worked so hard. But I did everything I needed to do to support my family for 8 years with my back broken in 11 places in excruciating pain, and I continued to work every single day until I had my surgery. I'd still be working if I could still use my damn legs very well, but my legs are so weak now that I can't even hold up my motorcycle or do anything. So my walking is restricted to probably about 500 or 600 feet, and I got to quit. So this is where I am now, but it's not because of lack of trying. I've worked my ass off to get everything I've got. So also I worked full time since I was 12 years old, 8 to 14-hour days ever since I was 12. So I think I've earned my keep. But anyway, I had a few more things, but one of the biggest things that I want to finish up with right now before I finish up my show here is this incredible bullshit that I'm hearing from our military brass telling the National Guard to stand down. And think about this. That means that the military is telling the National Guard, the nation's guardsmen that are supposed to protect their citizens of their hometowns, are being told not to do that by military brass. That is some bullshit. And guess what? That is an unconstitutional order. If you are being told to disobey the oath that you swore to uphold, that is an unconstitutional order, and you can tell that brass to kiss your ever-loving ass, sir or ma'am. So I wanted this to be out there too. Attention members of National Guard, we write you as fellow veterans and service members with full knowledge of what's at stake, as many of you are being asked to mobilize against civilians in your own country. As your neighbors fill the streets demanding the justice, no, they're not demanding justice, they're demanding shoes. Demanding justice this country promised them. Your command is undoubtedly telling you that you're being activated in service to your community, and yet it is your community members who fill the streets while your commander in chief tweets about using you to murder people over something as insignificant as property damage. That is some bullshit. I want to know which veterans wrote that crap because I would have a few things to say to them. I mean, if you're a veteran and you're willing to shit on the people that you are supposed to be defending, then you can kiss my ass. I have no time for you, and you're a disgrace to the uniform. So, no, thank you. But that is the kind of crap that we're hearing right now. They're telling the guardsmen not to protect the community, and then they're saying something as insignificant as property. Well, also they're saying it's the members of the community that are out in the street, and that's already been proven to be bullshit. It's the members of other communities that don't have a dog in the fight or any interest in saving your community. They want to burn it to the ground because their place with that they go home to be just fine when they get there. So this is some bullshit, and this is what I'm saying about eventually, because of the way things are going, they're going to force the American people themselves to take back this country. And by God, I'll be there. When it's necessary, when they finish knocking all their dominoes down, and there's no choice left. You either do something to defend yourself, or you sit there and die. Then I will, by damn, be defending myself. So I hope everybody feels that same way. Anyway, we have to have law. We have to have order. Luciano breaking: St. Louis police release images of 7 looters who murdered retired police captain David Dorn. Okay, great. Now, are they going to get their asses picked up and taken to prison, or are they going to be released like some of the attorneys generals for these cities are doing? I can't remember one of the cities. I just heard about it right before I came live. No, it wasn't Chicago. But the police are arresting the protesters, the violent ones. They're running them through the system, and then the attorney general is demanding that they be let back out on the streets that they were arrested from. So this is the kind of bullshit that we're facing. Anyway, I think that's going to be good for me before I pop like a zit. I hope I've gotten some good things to chew on, to think about out here, and it's crazy. But I want to take a minute and thank all the folks that took the time to join me here, all the folks on D Live. Sorry about the freezing. It's my signal. All my moderators over here on YouTube, thank God for you. I appreciate you holding my house together. And everybody that's hung out with me. DM, Jeff B. and Tony, and thugs that want free TVs. Yeah, right. It's paid protesters. Yeah, I've got a bunch of them. But they all rock this joint. All right. Yeah, Dumpster Fire, appreciate you, man. I enjoy getting out here, but I am a victim of my weather. And we are in the summertime pattern, so it could be, the meteorologists will say it looks like it's going to be a beautiful, clear, sunny day. And, they'll be saying that at the same time they're holding the umbrella over their head. So it's the kind of thing we face here. It's the tropical systems, tropical weather. Rogue Fair Hollywood set up a GoFundMe page to bail out. Yeah, the criminals. I've seen that too. So this is what we're up against. Love you back, Tony. Right on. All right. That's what I got, y'all. So until next time, stay in the fight.